Motorcycle Adventure Dirtbike TV is proudly supported by Adventure Spec in England, Rally Raid Products, Giant Loop in the United States, and Adventure Moto in Australia.
A revolution is occurring in motorcycle adventure. Manufacturers have now realised that bigger isn't necessarily better, and a huge number of eager recruits who were previously intimidated by the big bikes are now queuing up for a taste of adventure. Today, Amy Harburg and I turn our attention to the latest bike to land in Australia. Our test area is the Wadigan Mountains.
Hi, I'm Amy Harburg. We're here today with BMW G310 GS, and today we're going to take it out for a test ride and put it through its paces.
So Amy, what a cracking day. We've done blacktop, twin trail, single trail on the new BMW GS310. I really didn't expect to have as much fun as I did, but it was a great day, wasn't it?
It was, and the bike handled every aspect of those surfaces that we covered. So
Yeah.
I think the surprise package actually was how well it handled that single trail.
Yeah.
It, took everything that we threw at it.
Yeah, well, we started down that single trail, and I thought, I said to you, I think it's fairly easy. And then there was that section. I went, oh, this is getting fairly. We're taking this road-oriented adventure bike beyond its limits, and it just ate it up, didn't it?
It really did. And like I said, there were a couple of times in there we got to a little step down. I thought, oh gosh, is it going to bottom out? Didn't at all.
No,
it
was great.
Just rolled on down everything we put it at.
Yeah, the 310 has a great power to weight ratio. I didn't feel like I needed any more power. I didn't feel it was sluggish, and it certainly demonstrated to us that it had grunt when it went up that really steep hill, and I nearly went over backwards.
Yeah, that was actually quite surprising.
Yeah, but it kicked along, didn't it?
It does. For a little single-cylindered engine,
yeah.
It gets along really well.
Yeah, the little girl's got some poke. But this is the beauty of a small bike.
Yeah, so the handling of the bike's interesting. Clearly we can't hit G-outs or steep ruts really hard. That's just not what this bike is about. But on a general level, in terms of its steering on dirt road and that, I thought it had great dirt manners.
Absolutely. I mean, we were both surprised actually about how much grip the bike provides.
Yeah.
And the Tourances are great tyres, but they're not a dirt-orientated tyre. And yet, at no stage did I feel that the front end wasn't sticking or we didn't have enough grip on the back end.
No.
And so that obviously comes from the bike being well balanced.
Yeah.
I think it does provide a lot of grip.
Some of the other features I like, although I forgot to do it a couple of times, is the ABS on the run. You just hold it on for 4 seconds. You can be going as fast as you want. You can turn the ABS off, or I think it's a little bit longer to turn it back on again. I think it's about 5 seconds. But whatever it is, you just hold the button on. But there are a couple of times there in the dirt where I've remembered, and it's so convenient because in the old days you used to have to stop and move along. But that was a long time ago. But
no, it's definitely a really easy to ride feature about the bike. Like you said, again, on the fly, you roll into a trail that you want the ABS off, and while you're riding along, you just hold it for, you think, 4 seconds?
I think it's 4 or 5 seconds.
4 or 5 seconds. The light comes on, and away you go.
Yeah. The other thing, I come in at about 95, 96 kilos at the moment, so I'm a lot heavier than you. And I think I'm slightly taller than you, but the actual bike ergos were really surprisingly good. All we did this morning was move the handlebars forward, I think a tad, maybe, 3/4 of an inch, something like that.
Yeah, not much.
And the rest of it was really comfortable. The seating position is comfortable. The standing position for me was comfortable. I expected to be bent over, but I really wasn't, and that was surprising.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, we're talking about a stock bike that you can roll out of the showroom, adjust the handlebars just a little bit, and away you go.
Yeah. This is the difference between some other bikes that are about the equivalent price, is you can just walk out of the store with this bike. And the fun that we had today, I mean, when people start looking at the video footage accompanying this discussion, they'll be able to see for themselves. I mean, that was hilarious going through that pipe. And
that was good fun.
It was a good way to check out the lights. Aren't the lights good?
Yeah. Well, in a very closed area like a pipe. It did show quite a good light. But again, yeah, look, it comes back to off the showroom, hop on, start your adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, like you, I was surprised when I first stood up on the bike. I thought I would be quite hunched.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's for what seems like a small bike. It's not a hunched bike.
Yeah. It's set up at the moment. It's a great entry-level adventurer.
Absolutely.
You know, both of us have been on quite large adventure rides with many people, and we see them wake up in the morning, and the first thing they go is ask the organisers, "How hard is it going to be today?" I mean, they've just bought themselves a twin-cylinder enormous bike, and they're not really enjoying themselves there. You know, and this we were just, you know, it was so much fun, and I think. I used the word today, liberated, I think. And I think a lot of those riders who haven't quite got the dirt skills for the big bikes would really benefit from having one of these.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was just great.
Absolutely. Like again, when we got into that first part of the single trail, and you know, we sort of realised it wasn't quite as easy as we thought it was going to be. If I was on the 1200, I'd really have to reconsider whether I went down that trail or not. And not because it's overly technically hard, but fighting a bike that size down a little single trail sort of becomes quite hard work after a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So if you're a new rider to the adventure sport, it's not something you're going to consider. Where this liberated that whole issue away, and we just ploughed on through.
We had a confidence. I mean, okay, both of us are experienced riders, but you know, these bikes still are not set up for tight technical trails, and yet we had a confidence with the bikes. I think for entry level riders, learning riders who are wanting to start adventures, even commuters who want to, you know, head up to the Wadigans, this is a cracking bike. The low seat height is excellent. People will always be able to find their feet to the ground.
For sure.
The power is subtle, and if you want to give it a bit, it will respond, but it won't dominate you. But yet in the same breath, it really kicks along on the highway. So as an entry-level bike, you know, it's really excellent. And you were saying before, you were reading a thread about women in particular just getting a bit frustrated that, you know, there's just these bigger bikes and there's nothing that really lets them relax. So what was that about?
So that thread has actually been really interesting. It's been going for a couple of days. What's interesting about it is a lot of the ladies, they already have adventure bikes, and a lot of them are on slightly bigger adventure bikes, and they're struggling with managing the weight of the bike. So they're not feeling the confidence to go on and do that next level of dirt road.
Yeah.
And it's really affecting the way they ride with their partners, because they feel like they're holding their partners up. And it's all about confidence. At the end of the day, motorbike riding is all about confidence.
Yeah.
And they're not getting that confidence from their riding at the moment. I think these bikes could really help them in that area.
Yeah, I thought it was a really sweet bike to ride. I thought the tyres were good. I thought the handling in the dirt was good. It certainly did the tarred road effortlessly. A great economy out of the thing. Not that we worry too much about that with small bikes, but I think we did over 200 Ks.
Oh, well, I don't think we've even used half a tank.
No, we haven't even got near a half a tank. I'll check out the economy though.
Yep. So the other thing about the adventure side of it is don't forget, we're going to put panniers and a bit of luggage on this. And I don't think that's going to slow the bike down at all.
No.
Like you said, we were doing 115 on the highway today with ease. Put a little bit of luggage on it, might slow you down to 100, but you don't need to go any faster than that.
No. I thought the front suspension was good, although there were a couple of times there where I just did the normal dirt bike thing to lift, and I topped the forks out. But that's not normal riding for learners or beginners or even most average riders. Like I just pulled like way hard, I think.
We do have to remember, we're probably starting to ride these bikes a little bit out of their design capacity.
I think we started off in the morning and we said, right, I remember saying to her, Amy, like this is a road-oriented adventure bike. And I think within about an hour, we were in this single trail, and we've taken the bike to its design limits. And
sure.
I think the thing about that is it really passed the test.
I think it came out with flying colours.
Yeah.
Really flying colours. Again, I keep coming back to actually how surprised I was by this package today. Like you said, it's designed for an entry-level adventure rider or urban adventures. That's not what we did today.
No.
It excelled. And you're right, you know, trying to get air or trying to really manipulate the suspension is something advanced riders kind of do. So I think we can forgive the bike for topping out the suspension.
I forgive you. You did well. The rear suspension was good. I felt that if you got on the pegs with this and you stood in a prepared stance with your legs slightly bent and you absorb some of it, you could get the most out of it. If you work with the suspension on this, you actually, I found it soaked up most of the stuff. Yeah. You've got to watch sharp edge, 4-inch high sorts of things, but you have to watch that on bigger bikes anyway, for flattening tyres.
Look, I think for its size, it's actually got quite good ground clearance.
Yeah.
Some of those drop-offs that we were going off today, in the great scheme of motorbike riding, they mightn't be big, but if you're looking at a little bike and a learner rider, I mean, 2 or 3 of drops like that in a row sort of gets quite intimidating. And I didn't bottom out. I don't believe I touched the bash plate at all today.
No.
So for a little bike, it's got a lot of clearance.
So the bike itself, I mean, BMW always renowned for quality. I couldn't get over the switch gear. It's really solid and functional and works really well. The handlebar mounts, or the handlebars, how it's set up, is really good. The dash is informative for just what you need. You need a little bit of a tacho and speed and the ABS control and a couple of warning lights. Yeah. It was really good.
I actually really like the dash on this bike.
It's simple and effective.
But it gives you everything you need. So and again for learner riders, I think all bikes actually have this now anyway. It shows you what gear you're in.
Yeah.
Very simply, it's the fuel's right there. The ABS light and the ABS button, switch gear in terms of switch gear, is accessible and easy. Yeah. I do like the dash. It's simple.
Yeah. It's interesting you race a business of knowing which gear you're in, because we took off down the road and I got into 5th and I thought, oh yeah, that's nice. And I thought, I wonder if it's got a 6th gear, because I haven't read about the bike. I never read about a bike before I test it. I think the best idea is just to get on the thing and try it. And it's got a 6th, and that's a really valuable thing on this sort of bike. Like it's it just takes it to a different level. You can kick along on the freeway quite well.
Yep. Yeah. The other thing I like about this bike, and just in terms of talking about gears, is actually the gearing ratio of this bike. It's it can sort of feel like a high revving bike, but I don't know, all the gears seem in a usable range. Like, it's not like first is too short or first is too tall. It's actually, they all sit in a nice range for me.
It's quite funny, fairings on bikes can really make them or break them. If you've got a fairing that interacts poorly, with your chest or your helmet, it just drives you nuts. And there's been a few bikes over the years where you're just rattling like this as you're driving along. This fairing, although it doesn't look much, is really effective. I was feeling, as we're doing about 110 there, I'm kind of feeling where it punched the air, and it punched it just under the jaw for me. So the helmet was lovely and stable. It kept the air off my chest. That's the thing that wears you down, adventure riding. Yeah. So it's amazing. Yeah, it doesn't look much, but at the end of the day, it's effective and functional, and that really does the job.
Yeah, and it's quite surprising that it has such a little piece of fairing, actually so well designed. Can do the job.
Yeah, it doesn't look much, but it really did the job.
Look, on the panels, I really like the way the bike feels. It's got that BMW build quality to it, and the panels aren't rattling off, or they're not loose in spots, or they don't, they all come together nicely. It looks brilliant. I mean, I think this is a great looking little bike.
It's a great looking little bike.
It is. It certainly has taken its style hints off its bigger brother, the 1200 GS.
Yeah.
But the panels, they're all really well made, and they're brought together well.
It cracked me up when we went for lunch at Laguna, and all these big twins are sitting there, and we're nestled in between them, and all the guys are coming, oh, what's this?
Yeah, I don't think they knew what it was.
Yeah, and as you said, the funny thing was, we probably did more and tougher adventure miles than a lot of those people did on their bigger bikes.
I don't doubt it, because again, this is confidence inspiring to go on and give that slightly harder track a crack. Yeah. And you're not trying to lug down a 240 kilo bike into a trail that you're not really sure where it's going to end.
Yeah, so today, I had an expectation about today. I'll be frank with you, I thought, okay, road-oriented, dual-purpose bike at a very, very competitive price. I had a feeling
Really
that the
competitive.
suspension wouldn't be quite there. I just wouldn't quite fit on it. I thought, but I'll keep an open mind. And I've got to say, I just couldn't take the smile off my face. The whole day was just fun, and we really took the bikes beyond where they're supposed to go. But if anything, that should give others confidence. They can easily take this bike, take it out of the showroom, get on the freeway, get on the blacktop, and go straight into some twin trail or forest trail, and just, if they don't have the skills, just slowly go down it, and they'll have the time of their lives.
Absolutely.
So I think this bike is one for our female riders. We've got a whole lot of road riders out there. The adventure riding community probably has, 4% females, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and I've got a feeling this is the bike that's going to get them really thinking about, well, hang on a minute, I can do the dirt too.
Mm-hmm.
And once they do that, motorcycling becomes, for us anyway, we're absolute die-hard adventure riders, but it opens up so many things. You can still do the blacktop, you can go for that cruise, but you can go on that road you just couldn't go on before. And
Well, as we saw on some of the twisty roads we came down, this bike performs pretty well on the road. It's
very good manners.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all up for me, a really solid package. I think if anyone was thinking about adventure now, just don't go down that path of the biggest bike in the shop is the one that you need. If you're not used to adventure, start with the smaller capacity bikes. You'll have a blast. We ride big bikes, but we had so much fun today. You can't make
Absolutely.
that fun up. You either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
So
It's because it's easy to ride. That's why it's
so
fun.
easy to ride.
I think that's what makes it fun, is easy to ride.
Easy to ride, but also it's got really good manners.
It does. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
very well managed in all respects, like you said, with the grip on the dirt.
In terms of modifications to the bike, there's really not much for me. Just doing the bark busters, installing some bark busters. It really needs a bash plate, and that would make me feel so much more comfortable. Like sometimes you can just accidentally hit something, and I'd just be happier with that.
Yeah.
Even though it's quite high, and we didn't bottom it out today. Neither of us did. But those are the two modifications that come to mind. Apart from that, I'm pretty happy with that stock. I wouldn't, do much to it.
Yeah. Again, maybe a radiator guard,
Yes,
which I'm
yeah.
sure BMW will come out with soon.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where they're going to go with crash bars on this.
Yeah,
be
that's a
honest.
good point. Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be rushing out to put crash bars
No.
on it. It doesn't really feel like it. I don't know why it doesn't feel like it needs it, but
Yeah.
it seems to be going over the top.
Well, Amy, it was a pleasure riding with you today and
Thanks, Dave.
trying out the GS310. Look forward to riding with you in the future and seeing how the bike goes in the longer term.
I'm really looking forward to taking this bike further afield and
Yeah.
actually loading it up and taking it on some true adventures.
Yeah. I think if you went on a BMW Safari with this, I think people initially kind of discount you, but by about day 2, they'd be going, ooh. Or maybe I need one of these.
I'm not even looking at GS Safari. I'm looking at Enduro Safari.
Oh wow.
That's honestly, I have a lot of confidence in the bike that it could do it.
Yeah. Where women have been talking about this, you might want to go into that again because that was really interesting.
Yes.
And we'll just shoot that bird. Boom. All right.